What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another GeForce Now News Thursday. So we've got 3 early access games that are leaving early access, going into their full release 1.0 versions. So we'll talk about those. And we also have 11 new games this week with a lot of new releases on there and some good titles as well. Another decent week here for GeForce Now, coming in from last week with a couple of good titles. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting with those early release games. All right, so those games are Last Epoch, which is coming into its 1.0 release February 21st, Myth of Empires, their 1.0 release on Steam for February 21st, and Sons of the Forest, their new 1.0 release on Steam for February 22nd. These 3 titles are actually pretty popular, especially Sons of the Forest and Last Epoch. Now, I've been watching some videos on Last Epoch. I have to pick up this game and give it a shot. It's being kind of called something between Diablo 4 and PoE, which kind of gets me excited to give it a shot. And all the videos on this game look really good as well. So that's a big one. And it also hit 152K at once on their peak here on Steam at the time of recording this video on February 21st as well. So a nice release day for them on that. So really nice to see those games coming out with their full releases and supported here on GeForce Now. Let's go ahead and get into the 11 games that we have for this week. All right, so for this week, we've got Le Mans Ultimate, new release on Steam for February 20th. Nightingale, a new release on Steam for February 20th. This game's actually done okay, but it did peak out around, I think, 46K on its release day and hasn't broke yet on Steam, that number, but it did pretty well. Terminator Dark Fate Defiance, a new release for February 21st. This title is definitely one I'll be picking up and checking out. Big Terminator fan, not quite sure how this one's going to pan out, but I like these kind of games anyway, so definitely want to give it a shot. Garden Life, a cozy simulator, new release on Steam for February 22nd. Pacific Drive, another new release for Steam, February 22nd. I've watched quite a few reviews on this game already from early reviews that are out there, and it's kind of hit and miss. It's really a certain niche of gamer that's going to be into Pacific Drive, but it looks really cool. Definitely all about exploration, discovery, and crafting, survival, and all of that. Solium Infernum, a new release on Steam for February 22nd. Katamari Damacy Reroll on Steam. Klonoa Fantasy Reverie Series on Steam. Pac-Man Museum Plus on Steam. Pac-Man World Repack on Steam. And Tales of Arise on Steam. This game's a couple of years old, but Tales of Arise was a fantastic game. So I own that on Steam. Really happy to see that being brought over to GeForce Now as well. So some good titles in here. Terminator Dark Fate, Pacific Drive, Tales of Arise, Nightingale. Again, I think this is a pretty good week for GFN. Last week, this week, and those games coming out of early access, especially Last Epoch, really has my attention there. So, but yeah, I think that'll about wrap it up for our news this week. Pretty short and sweet. 11 new games, some good titles, early access games coming out with their full versions, and definitely be checking out the Last Epoch there and some other games, Terminator Dark Fate, maybe Nightingale, Pacific Drive, some good stuff there. All right, guys, let me know what you'll be playing in the comments down below. Thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. As always, I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.